Hey guys, welcome to the video. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Today we're going to be talking about whetstone sharpening. If you're here, then you've probably already bought your first whetstone or you're looking to purchase. In this video I'm going to be using these two sharp pebble stones that they've sent in and asked me to do a video using. Generally you want a coarse grit, a medium grit, and a fine. This is a nice range here. This would be in a budget line of stones, but there are tons of stone options. Do a little bit of searching and you'll find lots of information on your own. You can get a Nagura stone like this as well, to use for cleaning or roughing up your stones. But we're going to get started now, and angles is the first thing to discuss. And this is maybe one of the toughest issues with freehand sharpening. What angle do you use? So I'm going to show you a lovely little trick here that I use constantly when sharpening. For demonstration purposes, we're going to be using the cold steel Pendleton Light Hunter, and you can see just it has a standard bevel. So what you're going to do is lay your knife flat on the stone like this, and you can see a shadow that's under the bevel of that knife. What you're going to want to do is raise the heel or the spine of the knife up until that shadow disappears. At the very instant that shadow disappears completely, that is the angle you're going to try to maintain while you're sharpening. So you can see me moving the knife back and forth here. Once you find that angle, you can go ahead and start sharpening. Now you're going to use nice controlled forward and back motions. Some people debate whether you can do back and forward motions, but I like using forward and back motions like this. Make sure you're contacting the stone right from the heel of the edge to the very tip. So you can see I'm both raising the handle of the knife and turning that edge into the stone, making sure to contact the entirety of the knife bevel. Apply solid firm pressure to make sure that your stone is cutting the steel of the knife. Now when you see this result, that is a nice even scratch pattern that travels the entirety of the bevel, or those lines I just put in there. That means you're done on that side. Now you might even get to where you have a nice little burr. You can see some little pieces of wire hanging off there. That is called a burr. Once that happens, once you have that scratch pattern and that little burr, you can switch over to the other side. Make sure to watch your knife bevel again. Make sure to check your angle, look for that shadow, and you can repeat those exact same steps. Nice firm pressure covering the entirety of the bevel, and you're good to go. You can see here now a very clear burr. And here's what I like to do to get rid of that. When I'm finishing up on each grit, I will use only cutting strokes, and I'll go one for one on each side, just like you see here. And once I've done a few of those, then that burr is usually gone, and you have just a beautifully clean scratch pattern. I'll give the stone a rinse since this is a combo stone, flip it over, and now we can work on the next grit. Now, as I said, I will repeat those exact same steps for each grit. The only difference is in knowing when you're done with a particular grit. As you get to finer grit stones, you're not going to get that big wire burr anymore. So what you're looking for is still that nice even scratch pattern, but you just want to replace the previous stone scratches with finer grit scratches. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm finishing up on this 1000 grit here right now. You can see I have a nice clean 1000 grit scratch pattern. And just like that, we're on to the 3000 grit stone, and once again the exact same steps. I'm not exaggerating that. I do the exact same thing on every single stone. Finishing up, we'll use those nice cutting strokes again, just like you saw before. Right here, one for one. And we're getting a nice edge by this point. 3000 is plenty high. You can stop. You're getting a fairly polished edge at 3000, but if you'd like, you can go even higher. So this is an 8000 side here, and now I'm finally using that Nagura stone just to clean up, because the surface of this 8000 grit stone was a little bit dirty and it wasn't quite ready to cut. So using that Nagura, scrubbing it down, will give us a nice fresh cutting surface. Now on the final stone, the highest grit that you're going to be using, I do ease up on the pressure. You want to maintain enough pressure so you're still cutting, but nice and light so you don't reform a burr. Just nice cutting strokes like you see here. And now we're getting into strapping. I really like strapping, and I always use two straps. A rougher side that's loaded with compound like I'm using here right now. And then later you'll see me use a finer sided strap with no compound. It's just a finished veg tan leather. And if I use that in sequence, I get a lovely, lovely edge every time. And the results certainly speak for themselves. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned something. Make sure to check out my other content if you want. Subscribe to my channel. Remember to hit that thumbs up down below. And I hope you're getting edges like this in no time.